Hello and welcome to our show, Film Talk with AJ Dean. I'm AJ Dean, your host. Happy 4th of July, everyone. And I've got the winner here, my very wonderful best friend, Paul Vato, the best co-host in the world. Hey, Paul.
Oh my goodness. AJ, you are too kind. How could I not be here? This is amazing. Thank you for having me. Happy 4th. We are recording. We're working on a holiday. Look at us. We are recording on the 4th. So I'm sure when this comes out tomorrow or the next day, because you are so fast, it'll just be a few days from the 4th. But happy holidays, everyone. Happy 4th and celebrating America's date of birth. So thank you.
Such an important day. And remember, Paul has his own podcast, Paul Vato Presents. So follow and support him as well. And Paul, we've got a phenomenal guest in the building, Wally Green. Wally is an actor. He is a celebrity pro athlete. He's a speaker, inspirational speaker. He's a writer and a North Korea diplomacy representative. He's also a wonderful entertainer, and we have met him on Clubhouse. Hey, Wally, how are you?
Hey, how you doing? I'm great. How are you?
We are phenomenal, and we're so happy to finally meet you. You know, you have an incredible story and background, and we are so proud of you and honored to have you as our guest. Can you share with us a little bit of your story? It's really incredible.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a really crazy journey. You know, I grew up in the projects with very severe domestic violence. My stepfather used to beat up my mom and me and mentally abuse us. You know, the typical, well, I wouldn't say typical. This was above typical narcissistic abuse. Because of that, I turned into gangs and guns at an early age as an outlet, including sports as well. So that was the balance. And I was able to somehow, change my life, get out of all the craziness, find the sport of ping pong, which was just a weird sport to find, travel the entire world to even doing a diplomacy for world peace in North Korea through it. So yeah, it's been a very interesting journey.
Wow. So now, did you meet Paul on Clubhouse as well?
Yes. I met him on Clubhouse as well.
Paul, how long has it been?
Well, I mean, it's been a while since I've been on Clubhouse because, like you mentioned, and thank you for mentioning my podcast, Paul Vato Presents. But I figured all the time that I was dedicating to Clubhouse, I should be dedicating to my own project, which I would love to invite Wally, to also be on my podcast. But so to me, it's just a pleasure and honor to be able to chat with Wally in a more intimate setting because, Clubhouse is great, but we're selfless people and we don't monopolize time. So it's great to be able to have Wally selfishly all to ourselves. But it's been a minute since I'm sure you've been busy and maybe we can talk about that. Did you maybe open up a club? These were rumors that I'd heard, but we've all been busy, so it's hard to be on Clubhouse. So it's probably been 6 months since I've actually hung out in a room with had the honor and pleasure of seeing Wally on Clubhouse. But we're all busy, so this is fantastic. I'm glad you brought us all together, AJ.
Thank you so much, Paul. And I love this. I love talking about success and winners. And Wally, that is you because you rose to the occasion and you fought for the good in your situation. And I'm so proud of you. How did you overcome all of those challenges against us? How did you do it?
Man, I think it came through the turning point in my life. There was quite a few turning points, but there was one specific turning point that I remember. It was after I got sent away. I got sent away for 2 years to boarding school in Africa. And that was instead of going to jail for 10 years. I got caught with a illegal weapon in school. So they were charging me with possession plus some prize that I had. But I always had good grades in school. So somehow my mom, with the use of a good lawyer, somehow was able to get me sent away for 2 years to boarding school. But while I was in boarding school in Africa, I spent a lot of time fighting there because once again, I had to prove myself. I had to prove my self-worth, But it made me really tough. It made me very strong so that when I came back home 2 years later, I wasn't the same kid that left. I was a stronger kid. I was a kid who had joined this thing called Man of War, which is like the closest thing you can get to the most militant army without actually being in it. And one day, my stepfather went to grab my mom by the throat, and I looked, and my stepfather turned to me and said, "Hey, if you look over here again, you'll get the same thing." But remember, I wasn't that same kid, so I immediately just lost it. I ran out the house. I came back with a gun, and I put it to my stepfather's head, and I was gonna kill my stepfather that day. And I was shaking. You know, it was just chaos. Things were happening so fast, and my mom called the police. And my mom, when she called the police, she said, "You guys have to hurry. My son's trying to kill my husband." Not that my husband was beating me up and choking me. My son's protecting me, that my son's trying to kill my husband. And I felt the ultimate betrayal that day. Like, I don't think there's any betrayal worse than that, because all your life as a kid, you want to protect your mom. And so, you know, I put the gun to my mom's face, and I was really going to kill my mom and my stepfather that day. And you know, something came to me. You know, we can call it a birdie or an angel or whatever you want to whatever you want to say. And it said to me, says, "Hey, if you do this right now, everything your stepfather said about you will happen today." And my stepfather always said that I would wind up dead or in jail. And I chose to not do that, and I chose to walk away. And that was one of the biggest turning points in my life. And it taught me that, you know, no matter how angry you get, or no matter how dire the situation is, there's always another way. And I use that in my life today to be successful, right? If things are getting really tough, you know, I remember the day where I could have literally ended my life. And I remember that, and I used that as a way to push me. I remember the things that my stepfather's told me all my life. You'll be dead or in jail. You'll never be successful. You'll never amount to anything. And instead of taking those things and dwelling on them and letting them eat me up like they used to, I now use that as I take that negative energy and I turn it into positive energy. And then that's the way I'm able to be successful.
Heard the voice of reason, you listened to it, and you thought, no, I deserve a better life. I'm a better person. This is way too, it's happening too fast, and I'm going to slow it down, and I'm going to take my control back, and they're not going to get to me anymore. And I just want to applaud you, Wally. And don't you, Paul, want to applaud him for facing something like that and then conquering all of that?
That's amazing, and I hope anyone listening can take something from that and realize that is possible. It's obviously not easy, and it's not our story, and it's very traumatic. But it's you know, we wouldn't know you, Wally, if you had chosen to just go on instinct. And you know what, you would not have been wrong. I don't think, you know, you would not have been wrong to stop that threat against your mother. And I can feel for you when you said, you know, you were, you know, it was like a traitor. You know, she you know,
Yeah.
when you were protecting her, you were doing everything. How old were you? And of course, if you don't want to answer any of these questions, you don't have to. And is your stepfather still around?
My stepfather passed a little while ago, and my mother passed also maybe like 2 years, a year and a half ago. But at that time I was 16 years old. And there's something I want to say also too. Like I said, my stepfather abused us every single day. And it wasn't just the physical abuse, it was tactical mental abuse. And what I mean by tactical mental abuse, my stepfather was illiterate. My stepfather couldn't read, he could not write, but he was a master carpenter, right? So that's how he was able to get good jobs, you know, and become a foreman of a major university, you know, because he was a master carpenter. But he tactically tried to break us down. And what I mean by that is I would come home from school, maybe in a good mood, which was rare. And then he would say, well, how was your day today? And I would say, my day was great. And he goes, well, it doesn't matter because you're never going to succeed at anything anyway. So these are the things that he did. So hearing all these things every single day, it was more important to me that not one single thing he said come true than me taking both their lives. And that's why I didn't do it.
This is your story. This is your destiny. It's the reason why you are here, Wally, to share your story and to inspire others and to give them hope. And like I said, you are such a success story, and it's incredible. Have you ever thought about writing a book? Have people approached you to write a book?
Yes, so I'm actually working on my book right now, and I will tell you the title of the book. It's called From the Pistol to the Paddle. And
Wow.
it might have like a side thing on it. I'm not sure yet, but definitely the main title is From the Pistol to the Paddle.
That's so cool. That's so coincidental. That's the name of my autobiography. No, I'm kidding.
Really?
I'm just kidding. It's such a good title, and it's exactly what it is, because it's my understanding that you went from the pistol and gang banging and whatnot, and I don't know at what level or how much, but then you discovered ping pong. So did you find ping pong? Did ping pong find you? And how did that come about?
So I originally hated ping pong. I hated the sport. They had it in my high school. I played football. I played basketball. I made fun of all the kids who played ping pong in the lunchroom. So we used to cut through the lunchroom to go to the football field, and these kids would be playing ping pong, and I made fun of them. I was not a nice guy. And one day I was shooting pool as a side outside of sports, and I had this really expensive pool stick that I actually stole. Well, I didn't really steal it. I kind of did a switcheroo, in one of the pool stores, and I put a cheap one and took an expensive one and said, "Oh, I want this one instead," and got away with it. But I thought that pool stick made me good, and I was shooting pool. I got hustled for some money, got upset, took the pool stick, and out of anger, hit it on the pool table, and the pool stick broke. So now I was really pissed off because now my expensive pool stick, which made me feel like I was the best, was broken. And then I look to my left, and what do I see? 2 ping pong tables and some kids playing ping pong. And me growing up as a kid, I always blamed every single person for everything that happened to me, right? And that was one of the reasons why I gangbanged, was because I was taking all the stuff that was happening at home and putting it on other people and using that anger towards other people. So it was just natural. I saw these guys playing ping pong, a sport I hated, that I was going to go be a bully. So I went over to the kids and I said, "Hey, I want to get a hit." And they said, "You played it?" I said, "I don't play this. Just give me the paddle." So the kid gives me the paddle, and he hits the ball to me. Now my goal was to hit him in the face with the ball, just out of anger, right? And that I would have been like, "Oh, my bad," right? What's he gonna do? Fight me? He's not gonna fight me. Like, my bad. And it would have been it. I would have felt good because I smacked him in the face with the ball. I would have walked away.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, my plan did not work out at all. I held the paddle in a correct form, which I didn't even know what I was doing, swung at the ball went right on the table, and the kid was like, "Oh my God, that was an amazing shot. Do you played before?" "No, I never played." He's like, "Listen, there's a ping pong club. You have to go to this ping pong club and check it out. You have to go there." And I was like, "What? There's no way there's a place where people gather to play this." I said, "It's impossible." But like I mentioned before, sports was the second half of me, right? Gangbanging got the violence and anger out. Sports numbed me to the abuse that went on at home. So when I got home, I was tired. I kind of it just numbed me, and it kind of just sometimes flew over, and I didn't care. So I needed sports. So the athlete in me said, well, maybe there is a place. So I go down to this pool hall, right? I walk inside the pool hall, and they have 8 ping pong tables, and people are just making noise and ripping balls, boom, boom, boom. And more importantly, there were people that looked like me that were playing, right? So in other words, there were Black people playing. And I was like, what? Black people play this? I only thought Asians played ping pong. I didn't know Black people played. And I was shocked. I was like, oh my God, what is this? Black people playing ping pong. So once I saw them playing, then I was like, oh man, I want to play ping pong too, right? And I started to go to the club every day, and got really interested. No one would play with me, of course. So, that pissed me off even more. Uh, and I started to play every day. And then finally, um, this guy comes to me one day and he says, hey, and when I say no one will play with me, it's the good players. Like bad players will play with me, of course. I had a 70-year-old guy who used to beat me up all the time. And but anyway, this one guy came and he goes, hey, do you have a partner? And I said, no. He says, hey, you know what? I'll pay you $20 if you play with me. Now, at this time, I was already living in the streets because this is shortly after I left my house, right? Because after that incident at home, I left and I never went back. So when someone offered me $20 just to hit balls with them, like for an hour, 2 times a week, my answer was like, hell yeah, of course. And I would play with this guy and we would talk a lot. And the guy would, tell me about where he's from and stuff like that. And he knew about my situation. And one day I went to the club. A gun fell out of my bag, 22 caliber fell out of my bag. He saw it, and I quickly picked it up. Never went back again. Never, and I wasn't even going to speak to him again. Like I was kind of, just I don't know what he's going to do. He's going to call police. And so the guy calls me a few days later. Says, "Hey, are we still playing?" And I was like, "What?" But I'm thinking $20. So I'm like, all right, whatever. So I go play with him and he says, hey, I want to invite you to my home, which I thought was really weird because why would a guy who just saw a kid drop a 22 in front of his face bring him to his home?
Mhm.
So, it was all about the $20. I said, okay, let's go. I didn't know, what he was thinking, but I wasn't scared of him, right? So, I go to his house, I meet his family. They're all sitting at a table. They're all having dinner, passing food around, saying thank you, saying please, can I have more of that? Having conversation, going back and forth. And this is not stuff that I had when I was a kid, right? I mean, I like we never had this. So I think at the time he was trying to show me what family was. And then he says, listen, I know you're very interested in ping pong, right? And I really want to help you. So I'm going to pay for you to go to Germany to learn ping pong. You're going to live in a school with kids who excel at the highest level at sports. And you're going to learn ping pong. And I was like, huh? I was like, what? And I I agreed because I always knew that my life, the things I was going through, uh, and what I was doing, I always knew that that's not what I should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I always knew that for myself. I always knew that there was always a better way. There just wasn't a better way at the time. And now I'm being offered this opportunity to just leave. And I took him on his offer, and it was life changing.
AJ, if I may, this school in Germany, it would cover all sports, and then was it like a continuing like high school program or
Oh, so
boarding
so
school
so
again, or was it just a
yeah.
sports thing?
So it's technically a boarding school, but it's a sports school. So these sports schools are very popular in Asia and Europe, not so much in America, where like if a kid excels at a sport, his curriculum mostly is going to be that sport. Like these are the kids that are going to be Olympic athletes, that are going to be professional athletes. So all these kids come in. There's more than one sport, right? They have tennis, basketball, different sports. I was in the ping pong program, and you meet some kids from around the world. I remember I met a girl from Wales. I didn't even know what Wales was, and she spoke this crazy kind of English, and I was like, "What is that?" She was like, "This is English." I said, "That's not English. Nobody speaks like that." She goes, "This is the proper English." And I was like, "What?" And and I started to meet these different people. But at the same time, I wasn't just like, "Hey, I'm your best friend," right? Because just because I went there didn't mean that that angry, violent kid just disappeared. I kind of wasn't really friendly. And the thing I'm telling you about with the girl, that didn't happen too much later. It took a while for me to actually adjust and realize that the whole world is not out to get me, and that these people genuinely like me. Because people be like, "Hey man, you're from America. Whoa, you're amazing. Oh, you're from New York. How is that, right?" And for me, when people do that, it's like, okay, what do you want? Like this guy's up
Yeah.
to something. And so once again, the little birdie comes to me. This birdie comes around a lot, and it goes, "Hey, why are you upset? You're not in America. You're not being abused. You're not with your mom and your stepfather. You're in a totally different country where people genuinely like you. And not because you can pick up your gun. They like you because you're just you and they like your character. So I started to listen to that. And then I started to open up a little bit more, started to become more friendly. And that was the next turning point in my life. And that's when the mental part of being that violent, aggressive kid started to change.
That's incredible. And I love your story so much. Speaking of turning, could you turn your phone horizontally so that we could see you a little bit better? Would that be okay, Wally? If you just physically turn your phone. I want to thank you so much for sharing all of this with us. Second screen here, and it's got your gorgeous picture of you, and then also Crazy Meets Karma. Can we talk a little bit about this? It's Crazy Meets Karma. You played a ping pong pro, and this was 2019, this movie. Tell us about it.
Man, I don't even remember it, actually. Oh my God, man. Crazy. Oh man, which one was that?
Okay, you
Wow.
played, sorry.
I don't need. Oh, actually, the guy that I played with is actually here. Kaz, he's actually at this event with me. He's back in there. Yeah. We were. I can't remember which movie it is because I've done a couple of them. Where I do play ping pong in them. But we were. If I remember which one this, I actually don't even remember. I actually don't remember which one it is. I
Okay.
really don't remember.
Well, that's totally fine. And you play a ping pong pro.
Bro, yeah.
And I just thought that was so cool. And so this is the movie poster from it. And then I've got another one here. I'm going to switch this out. You're in 2 video games. This is so cool.
Yeah.
You're in table tennis and Grand Theft Auto 4.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
let's
yeah.
let's look at table tennis first. You are the motion capture talent. This is in 2006. It's a video game, table tennis by Nintendo. Tell us how you got that, Wally.
Yeah. Okay, so this one I do remember because this was actually the catalyst to my pro career, actually. So at this point now, I've been playing every day. I started to dream of being a pro player, playing internationally, playing around the world. And one day there was a tournament in Chinatown, and I was like, I'm gonna play this tournament, right? It was just a fun little small tournament, and I went to this tournament, and during a match, I was playing against a kid who was visiting from China, right? And so every time the kid made a point, he would go, yeah, like this, right? And then I would get angry. Why is this kid making noise? So I was like, all right, I'm gonna make some noise too. So every time I made the point, I was like, that's it, baby. Come on, get him out of here. And I start talking trash, right? So me and this kid, he's going, yeah. And I'm like, get him out of here, get him out, talking trash. And at the end of the match, I wind up winning actually. And at the end of the match, some people walk up to me and they says, hey, we love your energy, man. They were like, have you ever heard of Rockstar Games? And I was like, yeah, of course, Grand Theft Auto, man. I play it all the time. I was like, yeah. And they're like, well, we are interested in making the world's first real ping pong. I was like, yes. My answer was like, yes. I already knew where it was going. Yeah, for Grand Theft Auto. The answer is yes. So I agreed to make this video game, the world's first table tennis game. And at the time, this game beat every sports game. It beat Madden. It beat NBA Live. It beat all the sports games for best sports game of the year. And I thought to myself, because I always like to think ahead. And I was like, you know what? I can get them to sponsor me, right? This can all work. I can, do this. And then after this is all done, ask them to sponsor me to play on a pro tour. And so then I did. I went to them and says, hey, listen, I really want to play on a pro tour for US, but I need a sponsor. Would you guys sponsor me? And then they agreed. And they paid me a shit ton of money for 2 years to travel the entire world playing. So I played on Rockstar money for 2 years, almost 2.5 years, every major country in the world. And that's how I started to play pro.
Amazing, amazing. So I'm so thankful and grateful that you played that Chinese guy because
Yeah.
right, it all came together because of that. They saw you, they came up to you. What, that's like a movie. You see movies of how people were, chosen to become stars and celebrities. That is the classic Hollywood movie, isn't it, Paul? Would you say?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
you
Yes.
kidding me? That itself is the movie. I mean, and it just shows you. It doesn't sound like this was a huge tournament that you went to go play in Chinatown.
No.
You just went out of your way to go play this because hey, it's going to be
Sharing that.
fun.
We really appreciate it. Grand Theft Auto. This is the second video game that you're in.
Yeah.
And this is you play the crowd of Liberty City,
City. Yeah.
the voice.
Yeah. Yes.
And this is in I don't have the date on it. Sorry, I can't, but it was around that same time, wasn't it, Wally?
Yeah, it had to be maybe a year or 2 years later, possibly.
Okay.
I
Okay,
think
great.
so. I think so. Yeah. So with that is really funny. They were like, I was already sponsored by Rockstar Games already, right? And then they were making the Grand Theft Auto series, Liberty City. And then the producer comes and says, "Hey, um, how would you like to do voiceovers?" And I was like, "What? Voiceovers?" I said, I don't know how to do no voiceovers. He's like, "No, your voice is perfect. We definitely want you to come into the studio." So I was like, "All right, let's do it." So I go in. Let me tell you, it was one of the hardest things I had to do. As a matter of fact, everything with Rockstar Game was literally extremely difficult. The motion capture was extremely difficult, and the voice was extremely difficult because I played, if I remember correctly, I played a guy who was in his mid 30s who had just stopped smoking cigarettes, and was just very agitated. So it was basically me yelling at people, like, "Man, just get out the way, leave me alone. Stop it, get away." Like just really like high agitation. But yeah, it was really fun. And it was actually also very difficult because it was take after take after take after take. I wind up losing my voice actually after that, but it was fun.
Wonderful. So, Wally, congratulations on that. I do want to ask you, for all the casting directors out there right now, are you interested in doing film, TV, and commercials?
Oh yeah, of course, man. Of course, of course. Listen, I can do. I always say there's nothing I can't do, and there really is nothing I can't do. Uh, Anything that I put my mind to, and if it's something that I really really want to do, I can do it. And not only can I do it, I'll do it exceptionally well.
Awesome. And Paul, I want to check in with you.
Yeah, I'm wondering, things always seem to be cyclical. Skateboarding, big in the 70s, 80s, like when I
Yeah.
was growing up. And then, I felt like maybe either I grew up or, I wasn't around it. And then now I feel like it's back again. Is it the same with ping pong? Was there, like, say, a golden age of
Yeah.
ping pong, Wally? And then
Yeah.
what's the status of ping pong today?
So I think that golden age you're speaking about was also around the same time too. I think it was that 70s, early 60s era in terms of United States. In the
Mhm.
world, you remember it's the number 2 sport in the world. So it's been around the world, but in terms of the United States, it was that early 70s. And I think there was something that back then they had that they don't have now. And it was players with stories, players who were characters, players who were more than just ping pong players, right? And that's what makes me different than every other player in the world, and especially in America, right? I'm not just a ping pong player, right? But back then, there's guys like Marty Reisman, right? Marty Reisman was a very famous ping pong player who was a hustler. He wrote a book about it. He used to hustle people from playing ping pong. There was Dick Miles. There were all these guys who were characters, right? There were people that when you watch them, you didn't only feel like you were watching ping pong, you felt like you were watching a movie or watching a TV show because the character, the swag that they brought to the sport. And unfortunately, now there's not a lot of that, right? So that's why I try to continue to push this sport and continue to be the face of making this sport cool.
I think you're doing a wonderful job, but I can totally understand what you're saying, because I play poker, tournament poker, and 2006, that 2003, 2006, there were characters, big characters, and and you have the poker brat, the kid, you have all these people playing these characters, and it's them, Mike the Mouth, so you know what to expect from them. And now I see it coming back a little bit, but ping pong must be the same, and you're right, you want these bigger than life characters that it's almost like these paddles are your pistols, bam, because I love what you do, and we'll have to tell people where they can find you, but like your Instagram and your TikTok and all that, from your phrase, I'm gonna come on your table, which cracks me up. I can't wait to come on your table, nothing dirty, nothing implied, to you playing people with your cell phone. You're literally, instead of using a paddle, you're using a iPhone, or what, maybe it's an Android, I don't know, but you're using a phone instead of a paddle, and you're using objects that are not meant for ping pong, and you're still coming over people's tables. So I thank you for being this great character, and this person that's I think gonna keep bringing ping pong. And if we have time, I would love to talk about ping pong diplomacy and things like that, sure. Because when you mentioned the 60s, 70s, and I don't remember when that happened, but I know that ping pong diplomacy was a big thing. But yeah, you're certainly a character, and I think you're amazing for the sport. And I hope that they realize that, whomever they are. I don't know if there is the Ping Pong Association or what, but so thank you.
Definitely.
Wally, this is so amazing. Thank you for that question, Paul. That was phenomenal. And let's talk about that a little bit. Is there diplomacy in ping pong? Is it
So I gave a little bit of American history. In 1971, America established relations with China is through ping pong. It's called the ping pong diplomacy. So at the time, it was President Richard Nixon, and this was a time where China was very communist, which meaning like you couldn't even talk to a Westerner. And the Chinese national team, along with the Chinese government, invited the American team over to play friendly games. And that's called the ping pong diplomacy. And so I wanted to recreate or create my own history by doing my diplomacy to the most dangerous country in the world, which is North Korea. And I was able to go there, and I was able to be successful through manifestation in my diplomacy. And so this sport, there's a lot of diplomacy in it. This sport brings people from all cultures, all backgrounds together.
AJ, I think we're gonna, I know that we'll run out of time eventually, but Wally, I would love to have you on Paul Vato Presents, because I have such a fascination, I think like a lot of people do, with North Korea. Yeah. I know the tricky history and things that you may or may not be able to say, but I would love to go on just down the rabbit hole about your experiences in North Korea, because I'm sure there's, compared to all the people in the world, there's a handful that have been to North Korea. There's not many Americans that get to go there. You're one of very, very few. But to do that, I'm just so fascinated by all that history. And I know that I've seen some of your other interviews where some of the things that happened to you there, and
it's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know how you got out of there alive.
Yeah, me neither. Me neither. Yeah. I've been in some pretty sticky situations, but I've always been a person to be able to get out, to know when to stop and chill.
So was this your idea then for North Korean ping pong diplomacy? This was a project that you put together or were able to help manifest?
It was something that I wanted to do. I was figuring out what could I do big this year, and I didn't have a thing. I had just appeared on Steve Harvey's show the year before. Yeah, he's amazing, and some other TV shows. And I was like, what can I do big this year? And I didn't know what I wanted to do. I had no idea, but I knew I wanted to do something. And I was scrolling through the internet, looking at all my tournaments for the year, for the next year, so I can see all my tournaments, what countries they're in, what cities. And I just saw, China, Japan. Okay, I'll do that. Germany, I'll do that. Yeah, Korea, I'll do that. Pyongyang. Whoa, what? Pyongyang? I said, and I looked at it, I said, there's no way there's a tournament in Pyongyang. It's crazy. And there was a world tournament happening in Pyongyang, but none of the world went, right? So I tried really hard to get people from around the world to go with me because I have friends from every corner of the world who play for their country. And everyone was like, nah, no, you're gonna die. They're gonna kill you. You're not gonna come back. We're not going there. And no one wanted to go with me. So I said, okay, well, if no one wants to go, then I'll go by myself. So when I went there alone. I went by myself to North Korea.
I mean, even when Dennis Rodman went, he didn't go by himself. He had
Right.
at least a crew. And then
Yes.
if he went back again, I can't exactly remember, but he also went with a whole basketball team. But if he
Yep.
went by himself, it wasn't by himself. It was with his lawyer and his friend.
Exactly.
And, so at least he had his little crew with him, where you going to North Korea by yourself has
By
got to
myself.
be an amazing, amazing story. And, how do you don't have anyone to rely on. And you just
No,
like me
zero.
just like me going to Cuba back in the late 90s, you don't have the power of the US government behind you, because there is no place there. There's no what's it called?
Embassy.
Embassy. There's no
Yeah.
embassy where, hey, if you
Nope.
get in trouble, go to the embassy. No, you're on your own.
Yes.
100%.
Yes. Yep.
What an amazing story. What do you think, AJ?
My gosh, wow. I just have to say, wow. And I want to say thank you for your service, because that diplomacy, and you represent us going there. Thank you so much. I know you can't answer this, but has the government called you up again to represent us soon?
So actually the
Sure,
government
James,
didn't
yeah.
even no, it's fine. Actually, the government didn't even know that I went because
Oh,
I don't need yeah, so I didn't need the government's permission to go. Everything that I did was through me and the Secretary General of Sports of North Korea. So I'm going back and forth with them, and then I go to Beijing, China, and that's where I get the visa. So the government knew that I went to Beijing, right? But they didn't know that I went to North Korea until I came back to America. And I'll tell you this funny story really quickly. So I get back to America, and immigration, I go through, no problem. And now I'm going through customs, right? And now I also have a big bottle of alcohol that has a big boa constrictor in it, which is extremely illegal to bring to the country. So that's in my bag. So anyway, I'm going past customs. I fill out the thing. It says, where you been? I've been to China, North Korea, and I give him the thing. And the guy goes, okay. And I'm walking. As soon as I'm walking to the doors start to open. He goes, hey, come back here. And now I'm very worried because, I got this alcohol in my bag. If they search the bag, it's going to be a huge problem. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to be in so much trouble. And the guy says, the customer officer says, hey, it says here you went to North Korea. And I said, yeah. He goes, what were you doing in North Korea? I said, well, I went to play ping pong for the US and do diplomacy world peace. The guy just started laughing. He goes, that sounds very far-fetched. Come with us. And I was like, what? I was like, bro, what do you mean it sounds very far-fetched? I said, you can Google my name right now. I said, just Google my name and you'll see. Because he didn't believe, because normally I don't dress like an athlete. So at the time, I have my like diamond Stewie chain on, have my hat on, with the bandana. I was looking very hip-hop-ish. And he was like, that's far-fetched. I said, just Google my name. And then he finally like went in his phone and he Googled my name, Wally Green. And then he saw it. I'm a ping pong player, travel the world. And then the guy was like, okay, you can go. Then he believed me. But I was so scared, man. But that was the only time that I ever got asked about the North Korea thing.
That's it. Amazing.
Yeah.
What year was this, if you don't mind sharing that?
2015.
2000. So really not that long ago.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, the president leader was there.
yeah,
Was already the leader. Was it Kim
yep,
Jong Un or Kim
yeah.
Jong Il? Wonderful, amazing. That so. Did you ever drink that bottle of Cobra
Yeah,
Cobra wine? Cobra.
I brought it back to my club, and every Friday night we do a show where I MC and I host the whole thing, and we give the customers a chance to win free drinks by playing small games on our center court table, right? You know, like the run around where you run around. I'll be in the middle, I'll control it, and and as prizes, you had the opportunity to take a shot of the North Korean alcohol with the snake in it. And people took the shots. They couldn't believe it.
Wait, the winner or the loser has to take a shot? Because
The
I don't know
winner.
if that's
The
I don't
winner.
know if that's I won. Let me take a shot of Cobra juice,
Yeah, it was crazy. It looked really crazy too.
Oh, I'll bet. I'll bet. And I think you may have mentioned this on Clubhouse, or maybe I'm making it up, so correct me if I'm wrong. Or maybe you invited me once. If you go again, I will go with you. I would take that chance, because it is something I wanted to do. So if you ever do go, please let me know, and I would go. I enjoy that quote unquote danger tourism. Cuba
Right,
back in the day, but
right.
any of these other places. But North Korea, to me sounds, and I could say 안녕 하세요 and 감사합니다, and so I can say
There you
thank
go.
you.
That's pretty good.
Thank you. 안녕 하세요. Okay. 감사합니다. Yeah.
I actually got an invitation to return a few years ago, but that was when Trump was the president. And at the time, Trump was talking about hell, fire, and fury and
Yeah.
all this
Yeah.
crazy stuff. And I was like, nah, I'm definitely not going to North Korea because, if anything jumped off between America and North Korea, I would be stuck there. What people don't understand, when you're in North Korea, you have no cell phone service, you have no Wi-Fi, and they take your passport. So you have no way to get out. So if something jumped off, you're a prisoner automatically. So
And you could easily be, it could easily be as, well, he's a spy, he's here.
Yeah,
You're like, no, I was just here to play ping pong.
100%.
And the US isn't going to come get you. So
100%. So I was not trying to take that chance. And so I just politely said, I'm sorry, I have some prior engagements, maybe
it's
at
smart.
a different time. Yeah.
Very smart. Very smart.
Wally, you're so well spoken and you represent the United States so very well for us. So I want to thank you because you're a great representative. And also thank you for sharing that wonderful story. And I do want to mention the tables here. It's on the screen. It's a documentary 2017 and I'd like to know where can they watch it? Look at all the awards that you won.
Yes. It won a total of 45 awards. We almost got into the Oscars. We lost to a film called Knife Skills, which I don't think was a better film, but it was also a very, very, very good film about a guy who spent time in jail and learned culinary arts, then opened up a restaurant and hired all convicts to open this restaurant, and it was crazy. But yeah, so we lost to that film, and they made it to the Oscars. But other than that, yeah, we won a lot of awards. I did pretty much all the panel, all the Q&A. I've been to all the film festivals, and that's why I got the motivation to do my North Korea documentary, which I'm working on now. Like, I've always had the footage. Remember, I had the footage since 2015, and from helping with this documentary and then traveling the country, which I never did. I only traveled the world. I never traveled in America. But because of all these film festivals, I was now traveling America, and then getting to see other directors' films and people who are just starting out. And I said, wow, you know what? I can do that by myself, literally. Like, I can edit, I have the footage, so much footage, hours and hours. You gotta remember, I have over 4 or 5 days of footage, and I'm going to make my own documentary. So that's what I'm working on now because of doing the tables.
That's fantastic. And is this you on the poster? Is that you, the picture of you and your
No, 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 that's not me. It looks like me a little bit. That's a friend of mine.
okay?
I was
Everyone asks me that question. No, no,
well,
that's a friend
I
of
was
mine
gonna
named Frank.
say I was gonna say AJ. I know what a big fan we are of artwork, movie artwork, and posters, and I think that's such a powerful poster.
Yeah.
It's almost as if it was in black and white, with the shirt being gray and whatnot, and the skin tone, but that splash of red of that paddle, it's very powerful, very impactful, and yeah, that is one top notch movie poster. You should have been in the Oscars and you should have won. So
Yeah, I wish. But
Yeah.
that's my goal for the one I'm doing now, titled My North Korean Ping Pong Diplomacy. So that's the one that I'm working really hard on. That's why I do it little by little every single day, but just little as possible. I want it to be perfect. I want it to be really powerful, and yeah. So that's my goal.
And it will be. We can't wait to see that. And that will be another documentary, right, Wally?
Yes. Yep. Another time.
Great. Now, the tables, I just want to mention you won 10 awards. And where
45.
Oh, 45? Oh, please forgive me.
45 total. Yes.
Whoa, knock it out of the park, winner, you
45.
are. And so, Wally, where can people watch the tables?
So you can actually see it on National Geographic. So Nat Geo picked it up, and it's currently there. So you can see it there.
Fabulous. And then I have this one last picture here. Can you see it? It's of you and Susan Sarandon, and you're just about to walk the red carpet with her. This is phenomenal. This is from your video, from your TikTok video or your Instagram video. And tell us about that. Susan Sarandon, I mean, my gosh, she was in The Great Waldo Pepper. I mean, movies, she's a classic movie star.
Yeah. She's definitely a legend. Yeah, so this particular time, she was going to get the Life Achievement Award at the Shanghai International Film Festival, which is the biggest film festival in all of Asia. And she's also a partner of our club, of our ping pong clubs. She's a co-founder, she's a partner. Actually, without her, none of it would have been possible. So she literally made all of this happen. But anyway, she was going to receive this award, and she asked me if I would like to come, and I was like, yeah, I'll go. And then I asked her, because at the time, even till now, I'm not really a suit guy. So you never see me in suits. I don't like tuxedos. I don't like ties. I just like to be me. I like to be free. I just like to be comfortable. And I think, when you're comfortable, you're authentic. I don't want to put on a suit when that's not me, because that's just me not being authentic. So I told her, says, hey, is it okay if I don't wear a tuxedo, or if I don't wear like a suit? And then she said, Wally, it's okay. Just be whatever makes you comfortable. Yeah. That's what you wear. She said, you don't have to worry. So you see, I threw on some Jordans, I threw on some Sean John shorts, a bling bling shirt, bling bling chain, I had my, yeah. So it was so fun.
You're looking sharp, and
I appreciate that.
You walk wonderfully. You look beautifully together. And is this right? She is the co-founder with you of Spin.
Yes.
Of Spin.
Yeah.
Right? What is Spin?
Yeah.
Tell us about.
Yeah. So Spin is our club. It's a ping pong social club. So it's a nightclub, it's a social club, it's a lounge. We have great food, we have great DJs, we have great drinks. And what we wanted to do is we wanted to take the sport of ping pong, which is such a serious, sport, and make it fun for everyone by adding some entertainment, good ambiance. So it's not a gym. When you walk in there, people come there and they think it's gonna look like a gym. No, it's very elegant. It's very elegant, very nice. And it's one of the best first date places that you could ever go. If you want the greatest first date place, just bring your date to play ping pong at Spin. And I'm telling you, it's the perfect first date place.
Yeah, it sounds wonderful. It really does. Now, is this in New York?
Yeah, so we have 9 locations throughout the country. So we have one in New York. We're opening in Times Square, actually August, September. We had one on 54th Street, but we had a very short lease for that. So that one's closed now. And that's why the Times Square one is being open. And we have Chicago, Philly, DC, Boston, San Francisco, and I'm probably missing a few that not coming into my head right away. But yeah, so we have 9 total locations.
Wow, congratulations to you and Susan Sarandon. And we so love her, don't we, Paul?
100%. I'm thinking like, how do we get Spin to Las Vegas? I mean,
Yeah, I know.
I
Las
love that
Vegas
because
is definitely a good place.
it reminds me a little bit of, and maybe you guys were there even before them, but Flight Club, which is it sounds similar but with darts, and it's called Flight Club. But I would love to see Spin here in Vegas. Now, is it just open to the public, or is it a membership site, or it's just like any other nightclub club?
So it's open to the public as well as there's a membership.
Okay.
And what the membership does, the membership basically gets you in on private events, and then also it allows you to book a table in advance, right? Because like on a weekend, Friday, Saturday, you know, even on a Monday, because we have some special meetups that go on, it's very hard to get a table. So
sure.
If you're a member, you're always likely to get the table that you want booked.
So for everyone that should follow you on social media and check out Spin, especially if it's in their town or if they're on vacation. And I love what you said. It's a first date, wonderful first date place.
Yeah.
I mean, and I can see that because we're not professionals. We're not good. And if you're both not good at something, you learn and you have fun and you laugh. And then you maybe see a little bit of improvement. So that's wonderful.
Yes.
Where can people find the information on Spin and also on Wally Green? Where can we find you on Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, or wherever? You know, where would you like to send people to?
So the best place to find me now is my Instagram, which is Wally Green NYC. And then through there, you can find my TikTok. And then our website for our club is We Are Spin on Instagram. So
I'll be honest with you, it would scare me because I would think that it's a gym and it's a spin class. Like, I'm not going there on a date. I'm like, oh, wait,
it's
what?
true. Yeah, it's true. It's true. That is true.
But I'll try it. No, I would love to. I'd love to come on your table, Wally.
Massively come on your table.
I can't wait to massively come on your table.
Come on your table.
Yeah.
I'd love to also. Maybe we could maybe all 3 of us, I'd be in one corner, Paul, you'd be in another corner, and then of course we'd be on the same side, Paul and I, and then Wally, because you're the professional, you would be able to handle us both. What do you say?
Okay, yeah, let's do it.
We're gonna massively come on your table.
Come on the table.
AJ, I don't think we'd stand a chance against Mr. Green here. You could have 3 of 10 people on our side, and we couldn't win.
I know, but I can laugh a little bit about it, Paul.
Yeah. Let's go to New York, AJ. Let's do this.
Let's do it. And also, I wanted to, before we close, I know you're right, Paul, we're running out of time, but I've enjoyed it so much. And thank you so much, Wally, for being an excellent guest. We're going to do our heart messages, and I'm going to go first. I want to say happy 4th of July, everyone. And just like the explosions behind me in the picture, the explosions right here, the rockets, right? They're exploding, the fireworks. Also, keep that fun and that explosion of good energy inside you and give it to others. That's what we're here for. So that's my heart message for this week. Happy 4th of July. And over to you, Wally.
Wow, heart message. Well, here's one that I think is a really good one. I think it's very important for people to know whether they're going through business or relationships or etc. Never hesitate to ask someone for help when you really need help. And more importantly, never hesitate to accept the help that's given to you, because you never know how it might change your life.
Beautiful. Oh gosh, I love that. Bravo and brilliant, Wally. And so nicely said. Thank you. Thank you so much. Paul, over to you, love.
Well, I can't really beat either one of those two, but I think, Wally, you are the prime example of don't let anything define you. You're not the typical ping pong player, but yet here you are, one of the greatest people out there playing the sport and being a representative of the sport. So thank you for that. But also, it's not where you come from, it's where you end up. And I think, your journey has been incredible. We could be talking to somebody that's totally different, but you took those chances and asked for help and got help. And here you are. So thank you for sharing your incredibly inspirational story with us. And yeah, you are a true diplomat for not just ping pong, but for men, for the human race, for the United States of America. So thank you for representing us at such a high level.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course.
This is wonderful. And Wally, we're super excited to hear about your documentary coming up, and also to see the great blessings that are going to be coming to you in your life, and all the good things that you are going to do, and just for who you are, just being you. You don't have to do anything extra special, Wally, because you're perfect just as you are.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah. So I'd love to have you back again on our show, Wally. And of course, please, I'd love to have you on Paul's as well, so you can go even deeper and more fun talk. But until we meet again, au revoir. I'm sorry, arrivederci.
Annyeong. Annyeong. Goodbye in Korean. Annyeong.
And I'm going to say sayonara in Japanese.